Given that the Iranian authorities are adamant on continuing their killing spree, both on the streets and through sham trials, it falls on the international community to urgently take action to stop further executions. The international community must go beyond expressions of outrage and condemnation, and take all necessary measures to pursue accountability for all officials, including those in security, intelligence, prosecutorial and judicial positions involved in crimes under international law and other grave violations of human rights, including the right to life. This should include exercising universal jurisdiction to investigate all those suspected of such crimes and issuing arrest warrants when there is sufficient evidence. The international community must urgently call on the Iranian authorities to immediately halt all planned executions, and stop using the death penalty as a tool of political repression against protesters in their desperate attempt to end the popular uprising. Iran's leaders have portrayed the protests as riots instigated by the country's foreign enemies. However, the overwhelming majority of protesters have been unarmed and peaceful. So far, at least 475 protesters have been killed by security forces, and 18,240 others have been detained, according to the human rights activists' news agency. It has also reported the deaths of 61 security personnel. Iranian activist Mohsen Shekari was executed in Tehran on Thursday, December 8, 2022. After 75 days in custody for his participation in the mass demonstrations calling for freedom from the Islamic Republic of Iran. Shekari, 23, was arrested and detained on September 25 for blocking Sadarkhan Street in Tehran and allegedly injuring a pro-regime Baasi resistance force member with a machete. Shekari's hanging is the first of many official demonstration-based executions announced by the Islamic Republic of Iran, not including the more than 450 civilian deaths at the hands of the regime. Online, dozens of artists have posted tribute artworks in honor of Shekari's life and bravery, calling for the end of the death penalty and immediate release of protesters. Mohsen Shekari was born on the 24th of February 2000, in Iran. On the 25th of September 2022, Shekari attended a protest against the death of Mahsa Amini in Tehran, Iran's capital city. During the protest, Iranian authorities asserted that he blocked or closed off a main road in Tehran, Sadarkhan Street, and used a machete to non-fatally wound a member of the Baasi militia, which was sent in to quell the protests. The militiaman required 13 stitches in his left shoulder as a result of the injury. Shekari's family has disputed the Iranian authorities' version of events and claimed that Shekari used non-violent means to separate protesters and security forces. Shekari's uncle, Mahmoud Shekari, told reporters that after witnessing security forces attacking protesters, Shekari had removed a guardrail and placed it in the middle of the street to block off the area. Shekari's trial took place on the 1st of November 2022, presided over by Judge Abul Qasim Salavati. Shekari was found guilty of drawing a weapon with the intention of killing, causing terror and disturbing the order and security of society, as well as Moharebeh, or enmity against God, under Sharia, the latter of which carries an automatic death sentence. Shekari's judge had the choice to impose a lighter sentence, including deportation, but he did not opt to do so. Shekari appealed the verdict. The Supreme Court of Iran upheld the verdict on the 20th of November 2022, despite the fact that Shekari was not represented by his lawyer at the time of the appeal. Shekari's uncle added that signs of torture were visible on the 22-year-old's face in a filmed confession video posted by the Iranian judiciary's Mohsen news agency. and that authorities of the Islamic Republic have started a familiar game to torture his family by refusing to turn over his body. A video reportedly showing Shekari's mother learning of her son's unexpected hanging has also been circulating across social media, further igniting the fire of Iranian revolutionaries and sparking international outrage from officials and civilians alike. According to the United Nations, which identified Shekari as an artist, at least 40 Iranian artists, writers, poets, actors, filmmakers and musicians have been arrested and jailed since the start of the mass protests surrounding the murder of 22-year-old Kurdish Iranian woman Mahsa Amini for improper wrapping of her hijab at the hands of Iran's morality police. Shekari was executed by hanging on the morning of the 8th of December 2022. After Shekari's execution, his uncle criticized Iranian officials for not giving his family possession of Shekari's body for burial. He accused Iranian officials of sending the family to two separate cemeteries, neither of which contained Shekari's remains. Multiple families of other protesters killed by police during the Mahsa Amini protests have made similar complaints. He was 22 years old. His family waited outside the jail awaiting updates on his fate, while the execution took place. The Tasnim news agency, which has connections with Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps, confirmed that Shekari's execution had taken place, but did not provide any other information. While at least 459 protesters have been killed by police since the Mahsa Amini protests began in September 2022, Shekari's execution made him the first person confirmed to have been judicially executed for his role in the protests. The shocking way Mohsen Shekari's trial was fast-tracked through Iran's judicial system without allowing him the chance of a meaningful trial and appeal process is yet another illustration of the fact that the authorities are resorting to the death penalty as a weapon of political repression. The clear aim is to instill fear among the public in a desperate attempt to cling to power and end the popular uprising. In one of the first international reactions, Austria's foreign ministry said the execution was disproportional and inhumane and urged the Iranian government to stop all further executions related to the protests. The British Foreign Secretary, James Cleverly, said he was outraged by news of the execution, while Germany's Foreign Minister, Annalena Baerbock, said the Iranian regime's inhumanity knows no bounds. Mohsen Shekari was sentenced and executed in a perfidious summary procedure because he disagreed with the regime, Baerbock said. But the threat of execution will not suffocate people's desire for freedom. As many as 21 people have been charged with sentences that are likely to carry the death penalty.